Comment in chains. This editorial dissects recent media apologies and the implications of restricting opinion in Pakistan. In the midst of the Trump, thank you, the reigns, and many new ministers, the apologies crept up on us quietly, taking us all by surprise. Crept up on us is an idiomatic expression meaning appeared unexpectedly. This sentence means that amid recent political events and changes, a series of apologies emerged subtly and caught everyone off guard. No one was really expecting them, though we were all aware of renewed pressure and stricter guidelines. This sentence means that although there was anticipation of tighter controls and pressure, the actual apologies still surprised everyone. For those who don't make a living from the press and hence don't follow what happens in the industry, let me explain that in recent days, apologies were offered with regard to 2 talk shows. This sentence means that if you're not in the media, you might not know that 2 talk shows recently issued formal apologies. In one, the host apologized for remarks made by guests in recent programs, and in another, the apology offered was for the commentary by the talk show host intro, commentary, Editorial, whatever one calls it. But it's what kickstarts the program and lays out what the ensuing discussion will focus on. Editorial means the introductory part. This sentence means that on one talk show, the host apologized for guest remarks, and on another, the host apologized for his own opening commentary that sets the tone for the show. The weather is changing not only in the capital, but also in the studios. This sentence means that the shift is evident both in the external environment and within media production. In these difficult times, where the press surely is under attack, to use a cliché, these apologies struck a nerve. Struck a nerve is an idiom meaning provoked a strong emotional response. This sentence means that in an era when the media is under pressure, the apologies deeply resonated with many. Not because journalists can't be held responsible, and not because mistakes can't be corrected and acknowledged, but because of what the apologies were for. They were offered for opinion. This sentence means that the controversy isn't about accountability or error correction. It's about the fact that apologies were issued for expressing opinions. After all, for months now, we have been told that the source of all evil in Pakistan is #fake news, as social media allows people to make up stuff, facts, and events. #fake news is a hashtag used to denounce false information. This sentence means that for a long time, critics have blamed social media for generating falsehoods and misinformation in Pakistan. And these lies and mistruths are what is causing discontent in society, along with the defamation of good people. This sentence means that the spread of misinformation not only creates public unrest, but also tarnishes the reputations of decent individuals. And that these mistruths can only be stopped by bans and straitjacketing social media where the lies run amok. Straitjacketing is a metaphor meaning severely restricting freedom. This sentence means that some propose that only strict regulation or even banning of social media can control the rampant falsehoods. If even opinion is unacceptable, where does this leave us as a people? This sentence means that if expressing opinion is no longer tolerated, it raises a fundamental question about society's freedom. But if the problem was incorrect facts, then why are apologies now being offered for opinion? And if even opinion is unacceptable, where does this leave us as a people? More. This sentence means that if factual errors were the issue, there would be no need to apologize for expressing opinions. So the current trend endangers free expression. After all, comment, as The Guardian says, is free, and it has been freely available and shared in Pakistan for decades. This sentence means that commentary has long been an open and integral part of Pakistani media. Even during martial laws, opinion always had more space than hardcore reporting. This sentence means that historically, even in repressive times, there was more room for opinion than for strict news reporting. This is why among the big names that emerged in journalism from the Zia years were Ardashir Koasji and Irfan Hussain. Their opinions catapulted them to fame. Catapulted is a metaphor meaning propelled to prominence. This sentence means that during the Zia era, prominent journalists became famous for their powerful opinions. But in this age of Pakistani politics, even opinion, it seems, is far too much for those who lorded over this country. Opinions of not just the journalists but also guests on talk shows. This sentence means that in current times, even expressing opinion is considered excessive by those in power, affecting both journalists and talk show guests. However, the burden falls on journalists only, who do far more than apologize for their views as well as of others. This sentence means that journalists are the ones who must shoulder the blame and apologize, despite their broader responsibilities. The past week there were hushed whispers about some anchors being taken off air. Some we were told just didn't get the ratings, others were not a good fit, and still others left of their own accord. This sentence means that recently there were rumors about some TV anchors being removed, with various reasons cited such as low ratings or personal decisions. Perhaps these reasons were as reliable as they were earlier when journalists were removed from air during the PTI days. This sentence means that such justifications are as questionable now as they were in the past under PTI rule. After all, why should anyone assume that only the ire of someone powerful is the reason for the removal of journalists? Not back then and not now. This sentence means that it is unreasonable to believe that only influential figures cause journalists to be taken off air, both historically and presently. But the whispers and apologies do lead to a simple question. If a setup has so much going for it, as we are always being told, why this level of nervousness? The sentence means that despite all the supposed strengths of the media setup, the persistent nervousness raises questions about its true state. The judiciary is now tamed. Most coverage is managed via WhatsApp messages. The opposition is hopelessly divided. Even the new American administration is now happy with Pakistan. Why then do a few comments cause so much offense? This sentence means that given the current political and media environment, where the judiciary is subdued, news is controlled, and political opposition is fragmented, it is puzzling why minor criticisms provoke such strong reactions. One hears that this nervousness or laying down of the parameters afresh, which might cause less offense, is because of that infamous lack of bayania, narrative, at the other, the government's end, which is why perhaps even opinion that expresses skepticism or criticism of the present state of affairs stings more than it should. Bayania means narrative or storytelling. This sentence means that the government's failure to provide a coherent narrative causes it to react strongly to any criticism or differing opinion. But if those who make the rules did some introspection, they might realize this failure is theirs more than the journalists. This sentence means that the responsibility for the current crisis in media credibility lies primarily with the policymakers, not with journalists. Partly this is due to the credibility crisis of mainstream media, which too has been created by the state. This sentence means that the state's actions have contributed to a loss of trust in mainstream media. The heavy-handed censorship, the limited reporting, and even the efforts to ensure one-sided commentary has convinced many that mainstream television channels no longer provide the correct picture. Heavy-handed censorship means strict and oppressive suppression of information. This sentence means that excessive state censorship and biased reporting have made many believe that TV channels fail to show the full truth. The people of Pakistan have mostly stopped listening, and they have stopped being convinced. This sentence means that the public has become disillusioned with mainstream media. On top of this, the state's choice of people for TV screens also faces a crisis of credibility, and not just because so many of them are new to the job. This sentence means that not only are many TV personalities inexperienced, but their selection by the state also undermines their credibility. More importantly, it seems that most of them are compelled to provide such a one-sided account that they are criticized for behaving more as messengers than journalists. This sentence means that many TV presenters are forced to deliver biased messages, leading to criticism that they are mere mouthpieces rather than independent journalists. Still others are seen to have vested interests. Vested interests means personal stakes that may bias behavior. This sentence means that some presenters appear to promote their own interests. It is as if there is little value in cultivating credibility and trust. This sentence means that the current system neglects building genuine trust and reliability. And this is a major reason why there is constant talk of the failure of PMLN to build a bayania. The lack of one is not just a crisis for the ruling party. This sentence means that the inability to create a compelling narrative is a significant criticism of the current regime, not solely of PMLN. But this is not to say that credibility alone can address this problem. There is a limit to the stories that can be sold through the media if they bear little resemblance to reality. This sentence means that even if media were credible, if the stories do not reflect real life, they cannot effectively inform the public. This is as true of the claim of inflation having been defeated as the notion that this government is a democratic one. When protests by political parties, or students, or just ordinary citizens are met with unwarranted violence and arrests. This sentence means that claims such as inflation being under control or the government being truly democratic are unbelievable when violent repression is observed. No one is going to believe that they are living in the proverbial land of honey and milk if they can witness police raids in the house next door. Proverbial land of honey and milk is an idiom meaning a place of complete prosperity. This sentence means that people will not accept rosy claims about the country if they see evidence of oppression and police action nearby. The pressures on the media to present a better picture remind me of a proverb about a mirror and an image. But in this season of apologies, it is best not to repeat it here. This sentence means that while there is an old proverb about truth and reflection, the writer chooses not to repeat it amidst current controversies. Suffice it to say that these past couple of weeks, the old Hindi film, Amar Akbar Anthony, has been playing in my head in what is now an iconic scene. An inebriated and badly beaten up Amitabh Bachchan places a bandage on the mirror as he checks out his bruises in the reflection. Suffice it to say means it is enough to note. Amar Akbar Anthony is a famous Hindi film known for its iconic scenes. Bandage on the mirror is a metaphor for futile self-care. This sentence means that recent media apologies remind the writer of a famous film scene where a superficial fix, a bandage, is applied to an unsolvable problem, highlighting the inadequacy of these gestures. We all laughed because we knew the bandage was not going to help. This sentence means that the humor in the film scene comes from knowing that a simple bandage cannot fix deep problems. The writer is a journalist. This sentence means that the author is an experienced journalist offering these critical insights. Published in Dawn, March 11, 2025.